Hello and welcome to my vintage audiophile channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Cambridge Soundworks CD-740 tabletop model player. It is kind of set up almost as a tabletop alarm clock because it does have an alarm on it, and you can set two different alarm things for it, plus a snooze, so you can have it by your bedside. But it excels far further than that. It is an excellent sounding piece of equipment. It weighs in at about 12 pounds, which is pretty heavy for something of its size. And it is, like I say, made by Cambridge Soundworks. It is one of the last things that was developed by Henry Claes before he unfortunately died. For those who don't know, Henry Claes was a legendary figure in the audio world. He was first famous back in the 50s already for founding such companies as Advent, KLH, and Acoustic Research. Then he retired for a while and came back into the audio world because he missed it. And about 1988, he founded this company called Cambridge Soundworks. They were around for approximately 25 years. They made a lot of different things, and back in around 1997, he started to think that he was probably going to do some more retiring, so he sold the company, and it was bought out by Creative Labs, which is still around to this day. Probably around 2010 or so, Cambridge Soundworks finally folded. Creative Labs got rid of that particular line, but then they revived it quickly into a new type of Creative Soundworks that now basically just builds speakers of different styles. Everything else is pretty much gone by the wayside, but they do still exist as Creative Audio, and it's basically, like I say, speakers. That being said, let's get back to the review of this particular model, which is, like I say, a really great model. It came out in about 2003. When it came out, it was given a few awards for design and sound quality. I know CNET, which does a lot of audio reviewing, gave it an 8 out of 10 stars. The only thing they really had bad to say about it was at the time when it came out, it was pretty pricey for something of its size and being a glorified type of alarm clock radio. But everything else they loved about it. Originally, the list price on it was $400, which, like I say, is a pretty expensive alarm clock radio. But they couldn't fault it for any of the sound quality or all the stuff that it did. It plays, unlike the previous version, which looks almost exactly the same, which was the 730. The 740 now included a CD player, which the other one didn't. And it has a lot of different things on it that your normal clock radio doesn't have on it. Like I said, it has two different alarm settings. You can also set a sleep timer on it from anywhere from 15 minutes up to an hour, or 2 hours actually. And like I say, in its standby mode, you can see the time on there. You'll see a little green button up there right now. That's because I've got a CD in there. If CD wasn't in there, that light wouldn't be on. But it does have a time adjust on it, so you can, just by pushing one of these buttons, you can automatically adjust the time by the minute. It also has, and then here's for your setting alarm 1 and alarm 2. As far as the radio section goes, CNET and I both concur that it has a really good radio section, very good sound quality, both on AM and FM. It has 16 presets for FM channels and 8 presets for the AM channel. And the big button here in the middle, you see, that's the volume. And then you've got other buttons over here that, like on these two here, that's like the tuner up and down buttons, but it also acts in the CD mode as the fast forward and reverse of tracks. Yeah, it's got the play and pause and stop for your CD player. Then you've got a FM1 and FM2 button here, which, depending upon which one you push, will have your first or your second set of 8 FM buttons. Then there's an AM button here, an auxiliary button, and that'll go auxiliary 1 or 2, because there are 2 auxiliaries on here, one on the back and one on the front, for hooking up other various components, like maybe a second portable CD player or MP3 player, or whatever you happen to have that has an 1/8" jack on it that you want to listen to music through the speakers. Then it has a headphone jack. On the back it has internal or external antenna wire, or button that you can use the length of the power cord as your FM antenna, or, as you can see in the back here, I do have an external FM antenna hooked up. The AM antenna I lost right now, and it's kind of a proprietary one in the fact that it has a 1/8" plug-in jack on one end, and then the AM antenna, for the rest of it, which is kind of unusual, considering that most of them are either bare wire or have a little square plug-in to plug in on the back of a unit. And like I say, this also has a second auxiliary jack, but it also has another jack that's a mixing or recording jack, which is also 1/8" that you can hook up to like your computer or something like that, so that you can mix the music along with what's being played either on your CD player or on the radio. But you could also, that also subs out as a recording jack too, in which case you can record to like a MP3 player or a CD-ROM or something like that, to get something off the radio or whatever, or off the CD you're playing. I'm on the subject of CD-ROMs. This will play CD-ROMs if it's got MP3 on it. It can hold up to 99 tracks of MP3 in a folder, and when it's playing an MP3, it will tell you you're playing an MP3, show you the folder that it is, and then you have the choice of jogging through the different folders and stuff that are on the particular thing, if you have multiple folders. Otherwise, you can also just do whatever you need to do. But like I say, it is a pretty comprehensive little machine here. As far as quality goes, I'm going to play just a little snippet of the CD, because CD is usually the best quality you can get. And this does have a stereo mono or stereo wide, and unlike a lot of stereo wides that really wash out the sound in the background, this one really does a good presentation of wide, and it's the preferred mode that I usually have it on, because it really makes it sound good. It also has a loudness button along with separate treble and bass that you can change. I usually don't have the bass boost on because if there's a lot of bass to begin with, and if you put the bass boost on it, you can actually rattle the chassis and the speakers themselves. You start hearing a rattling noise because it gets so much bass. So I usually leave them off, and I really don't have any problem with that because of the fact that, like I said, it just has a lot of bass to begin with. So I'm going to play a track on this particular CD, and just to give you a chance to hear what it sounds like, and I'm going to put it up to my preferred volume, which is not too loud, not too soft, and I'll just let you hear for a few seconds here what it sounds like. You can hear what that sounds like. You can see that it does sound really good. And if I were to put the loudness on, it would be so much bass, it'd drive you crazy. So that's what it sounds like. Hopefully that was a good enough demonstration on what the sound is on this particular machine. I use it quite a bit. I don't have it sitting by my bed because I've just got a plain little alarm clock on there that works fine for me. I don't need to be woken up by music or anything like that. I can wake up with the alarm just fine. So that's my demonstration of this particular model. Hopefully it was informative enough for you. Hopefully it will entice you to maybe put this on your radar. It doesn't cost that much these days compared to what they used to. You can get one for well under $100, sometimes even under $50, but they're worth it. They do come with a remote, which I don't have at the moment. I kind of lost it, but it has the same buttons that are on the front of the machine, so you're not missing anything. Just more of convenience. So thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you so desire. I would very much appreciate it. Leave me any comments or whatever you'd like to leave for me as far as interaction. I will respond to everything, whether it be good or bad. Just please be kind and don't use any bad words if you're responding with something negative. And until next time, I will talk to you later, and please have a good day. Please be safe, and go America. Thank you. Bye-bye.